Change is coming to the Space Marine Codex. Spiky bits. What's up, hobby maniacs? Baer back again with you today with our hot off the press list of changes to the new Space Marine Codex. I mean, it wasn't even a month and a half ago when we got the first set of rules for Space Marines in the Index Imperium 1 right over here. And now we have the big 208-page Fiesta, hardcover Fiesta, of course. I mean, if I want a Fiesta, I'm going to get it hardcover. $50 Codex from Games Workshop here. Now, there's a lot of changes between these two books. I can't even remember all the statements Games Workshop said. They did promise us rules for everything. We do have rules for everything in here. However, not everything made it over to this book, and I can't tell you why. I don't even know where Games Workshop is right now. If you look on the map of the old world and it like says "Here be monsters" over here, well, that's pretty much where we are right now. Like, who knows what's going on with Games Workshop? I don't know, but everything seems to be going 100% aces for them. So, I mean, hey, it's only crazy if it doesn't work, right? That's kind of how I feel about it. So we've got a comprehensive list of changes. I know normally everybody expects our tips and tactics video first, but I would just like to go on record and say that that is coming. That I'm going to record that next, actually. But I just want to say that this book here, I am thoroughly impressed. Like almost 10 out of 10. I would say 9.5 out of 10 spiky bits for this codex here. This is one of the easiest codexes to read layout wise. I don't like flipping to the back of the book, but you know what, it is what it is. That's really the only thing I don't like about this book. It's easy to read. The references and the things that you need to check and cross-reference is all easily findable, except for one little thing I have a question about. I'm not exactly sure if that is the case, and we'll talk about that. That's actually in one of my listed changes here. So codex, definitely very good. It's a must-have for all Space Marine players out there. It's written very well. There doesn't seem to be any glaring ridiculousness or anything like that. It seems like everything goes together very well, and I am thoroughly impressed with it. Now, on to the changes. Here they are. If you can read this, well, kudos to you, because chances are I can't read it myself. So we've got a list of all the units that aren't in this book and a list of changes overall to the units from the Index 1 right here. Now, there is a ton of points changes too. A ton. Like a ton. And I'll show you those pages towards the end because I didn't write that down, and really it's just, hey, here's the points, here's what they are, here's what they are now, and here's what they used to be. And there's a lot of really interesting stuff. Like, you know, some stuff only two things went up. I think everything else across the board went down that isn't seeing a whole lot of play right now, so to speak. So right off the bat, like I said, old rules, new rules for Codex Space Marines. Now we already know coming out in August is at least the Chaos and the Grey Knight book. I would speculate that around Labor Day week we will see the Death Guard book come in, but you can't release Death Guard if you don't put out Chaos Space Marine first, right? So that kind of makes sense. I mean, duh, what are we, crazy people here? Let's not get too crazy with the cheese whiz. It's something I actually want to check real quick before we jump into the changes here. I'm pretty sure Guilliman has not changed. Guilliman has not changed. Okay, cool. I was getting his rules mixed up with the old Triumvirate book that came out there. So first off, we've got the 208th page. If you haven't seen our first look review on this, make sure you check that out here on the channel. It explains everything that's in here, all stratagems, all the relics, all the chapter tactics. Like it's kind of Age of Sigmar-ish as far as you can just kind of pick things and you get them, and it's all good to go there, which I kind of really like myself. Now, not in this book, data sheet wise, here's the official list that I have found. Please feel free to chime in with any that you have found that aren't in here, or if I misspeak and I say, hey, this isn't in here, well, and it is, please, comment with the page number here. So first up is Tyrannic War Veterans did not make a return. The Terminus Ultra, that's the Super Las Cannon Land Raider, which was essentially a conversion, not in here. Marneus Calgar in Power Armor, the old out-of-print miniature from the 90s, not in here. Let's see, what is this? Oh, Khan on Moondraken, not in here. Remember, they never made a Khan on Moondraken. They made a Khan kind of running with a sword, kind of like Aragon kind of beatbox stance, but nope. They do not have a model of him on his bike. Legion, Damned Legionnaire Squad, not in here. Librarian on bike, no option. Tech Marine on bike, no option. Apothecary on bike, no option. Ancient on bike, no option. Company Champion on bike, no option. Veterans on bike, no option. I mean, like you saw this coming. There's very little options currently to have bikes. Then we've got the Imperial Space Marine, that limited edition exclusive miniature that has the spitting hot fire option, not in here. The Rhino Primaris, which in and of itself is a little bit confusing because you put Primaris on the end of something and everybody thinks you could put Primaris Marines in it, but that's not the case. It's a command Rhino. It's one of the exclusive 2 model pack miniature boxes that come from Warhammer World. You get that in the Land Raider Excelsior, also not in here, Land Raider Excelsior. So there's our list of 14 models that aren't in here. Interestingly enough, we got 1 model added to the book, and that is the new Lieutenant slot. So we've got a Chapter Master, which you can get if you upgrade using a stratagem. You've got a Captain, which you can just buy for points, and now you've got the brand new Space Marine Lieutenant. Not Primaris. There's a Primaris version and a normal Power Armor version. So we've got 3 big HQs. One of them you don't have to pay points for. And bada bing, bada boom, there it is. And there's a battle for cat supremacy going on in the hallway. Well, who will get to guard the doorway to the recording room? Which, by the way, there is a little bit of an echo in here. I apologize. We just moved into the new Beats Lab. There isn't that much on the walls. Actually, everything in this room, for the most part, is pretty much still in boxes. So a little bit of an echo. I apologize for that. We will get back to our normal sound quality here in the near future, I am sure. So starting off, that was our list of things that aren't in here and our one thing that is added to this book, which we'll probably stop and show you the stats for that one here soon. So first up, big change. Chief Librarian Tigerius, dun dun dun, now has the new Master Prescience rule. At the start of each of your opponent's shooting phases, select an Ultramarine unit within 6. Until the end of the phase, your opponent must subtract 1 to hit rolls for that target. I feel like that's pretty good. Plus, remember, he gets to manifest 2 psychic powers in each friendly psychic phase. I think he knows 2. He knows 3 and Smite, but remember, there is something you can buy. You can buy the Sigilites book, and that actually will give you the ability to know 1 more power. So he can know 4 out of the 6 on the chart, plus the Smite psychic power, which I thought was pretty neat. So Chief Librarian Tigerius back to G status, hopefully, here in the new edition of the game. Which, by the way, too, and I'm going to talk about this in my tips and tactics video. If you didn't notice, they in the data, or what do they call these? Data cards, they actually put in Smite because it's basically an option, right? Optional spell that everybody gets. They actually put that in here. And then for the command stratagems, they actually put in the command reroll, the counteroffensive, and the insane bravery, the 3 that are just from the main rulebook, plus all the new ones. So you actually get 29 of those, and you get 7 of the psychic cards right here. I think that was pretty cool. It was a nice little touch by Games Workshop. I didn't notice it at first, but I thought it was definitely pretty neat and 100% worth mentioning. Like I said, $15 for this. It does have the 41 cards for the tactical objectives, which is the back half of this deck here. I turned them sideways. So it may or may not be for you. I would obviously prefer to have all these data sheets in there. But again, then why would you have to buy the $50 book? So I kind of feel a Games Workshop on that from a business standpoint. Next change is the Librarian. Where the Librarian at? Where's the Librarian? Oh, well, of course, Khan lost his option there. Librarian, I don't know where he's at. He's in here somewhere. Here he is, Librarian. They took away the Storm Shield option. You can't take a Storm Shield on this bad boy anymore. Dun dun dun. Don't ask me why. I don't make the rules. Literally, I do not make the rules. Tech Marine, I think we passed him. He can no longer take the Conversion Beamer. And of course, there is no option for him on the bike as well. So no more Conversion Beamer and no more option for him on the bike, which was a separate data sheet right here. Then we've got the Lieutenant. Where's the Lieutenant at? The debut of the Space Marine Lieutenant along with the Primaris Lieutenant. And the Lieutenant stat line is just basically -1 across the board as far as leadership, attacks, and then also I think wounds. Yep, wounds as well. So if you compare this to the Captain, he's going to be -1, -1, -1 for those stat lines right there. But it does have some interesting, options and such, and I'm sure he is cheaper points-wise, which we'll see in a second. And then Primaris Lieutenants, which we're seeing there's some upgrade bits coming out. And also, we already know that you get three of these in the Dark Imperium box, I think it is. So lots of those guys floating around right now out there in the fantastic 40k lands. The Apothecary, we're in the HQ lands right here. The Apothecary, well, there's the troop lands. The Apothecary actually got changed over to the elite slot from the Index Imperium. Don't know where, there he is. Apothecary, now an elite choice. Boom, boom, boom. For the company champion, he lost a couple of options here. You can no longer take a bolt pistol. You can no longer take, what was the other thing? No invulnerable save, actually. Or excuse me, no, I think this was a 4. It was either he had a 2-up save or a 4-up save. I forget which. But either way, this is different right here. And a lot of these changes definitely reflect how the models come in the box set. You know, definitely the company command squad comes equipped like this, and of course, you know, like I said, we talked about Khan. He's on foot. He doesn't come on a bike. So Khan, a lot of these changes kind of seem to make sense when you step back and kind of be like, why would Games Workshop do that? And then you think about it and be like, oh, there's no models for it. Okay, that makes sense. I get it. So while I enjoy converting, but then again, you know, if you get a new person, it's like, okay, well, where do I buy this model at? Oh, you can't buy that. You got to convert it. Well, some people might not be on that level anymore, you know, starting out. So maybe they got to work up to that. So I can understand it from a standpoint of view of, hey, if there's a stat line in this book, there should be a model for it. If not, there isn't a model for it. And then of course you can go converting your own stuff with your own poses and your own, you know, chapters and all sorts of things from there, right? There is a new option for the intercessor squads, which I guess would be back here in the troops section. Yeah, the auxiliary grenade launcher is a new option for these guys. If I'm all armed with the auxiliary grenade launcher, increase the range of any grenade weapon they have to 30 inches. Now I think you can still only chuck one grenade, whether it's shooting, because you're still using it in the shooting phase, but either way you get to shoot at 30 inches right here. You can shoot any of those 2 grenades right there, so D6 shots, which would be pretty cool, or at 30 inches at strength 3, so good for little guys. Of course, it is a frag grenade inherently, it's good for little guys. Or a strength 6 shot, neg 1 D3 damage at 1, so good light infantry and mid to heavy armored troops right there, maybe just trying to deliver that coup de grace. This is also a weapon option in the new multi-part intercessor kit that we're seeing is coming out in August. So all of that seems to make sense. It's like they have a plan, ladies and gentlemen. Now, the honor guard for these guys right here lost some weapon options. You're just gonna have to check them. There's a lot of this used to be way bigger. Now, a lot of things are losing their overall power weapons equipment, but they're keeping power axes. So it seems like like the power maul, remember the days of you could take all these different weapons? Well, that seems to be in the past. Now it's just a straight, you get these power weapons and they're specifically noted in the data sheet right here, and that looks to be the case with the honor guard right here as well. The company champion, we talked about his weapon, or excuse me, we talked about the chapter champion, but the company champion as well also suffered the same fate. So the company champion and the chapter champion as well now only get they don't even get a bolt pistol. Well, this one doesn't get a bolt pistol. This one retains his bolt pistol, has the mastercrafted power sword, has the combat shield, but does not get access to the better save, or unless of course you buy the armor form, because it is a character and you can do that in this book, and the 5-up invulnerable save right there with the combat shield, which makes sense because again, that's how the models are armed bits wise when you buy them. Dreadnought, big change to the Dreadnought. Big change to the Dreadnought. I don't know where he is, but he's in here somewhere. Until we find the Dreadnought, there he is. You can no longer take a lot of options here. So you can, the only thing you can really put in the left hand is going to be your Dreadnought close combat weapon and the upgrade to the heavy flamer. No more DACA Dreadnoughts. It looks like those are going to be relegated to Forge World, the Imperial armor indexes there. Because remember, the Mark V Ferris or Ferrum pattern Dreadnoughts can pretty much do whatever. Also, the Contemptors in the Forge World book can kind of do whatever still. You can't do whatever with the Contemptors in this book because they come equipped just like they come in the box set, which seems to make sense when we're, you know, going down all of those crazy roads, so to speak. The Ironclad himself went down in points, and we'll cover that. But you can see right here that that they did go down in power level. Anything that went down in points also went down in power level as well. Let's see, Templar something command squad. Like I said, I will have a hard time reading my handwriting here. Combat squad. Oh, some options got the combat squad ability, which I don't know specifically which one. And let's see, where is it? The Speeder Storm also came into line, was brought into line, and you don't have. Now is that it? Let's see, where's the Speeder Storm? Okay, so the Speeder Storm's dedicated transport. You'll see here that they nerfed it. You don't have the option to the Heavy Flamer and all those things that you used to have to convert back in the day. Now it's just straight as it comes out of the box right here. Another change or nerf is the Razorback. Gone are all the Forge World options right here. You only have the options that will come in the box. And I'm not sure the Assault Cannon comes in the box. I can't remember, but obviously we know a Twin Assault Cannon bit is easily accessible from a lot of different kits out there already currently, including the Land Raider. So that kind of makes sense that that is still in here. However, I haven't opened a Razorback in a while. I know the Last Cannon's in there. I know the Heavy Bolter's in there. Of course, the Storm Bolter turret's in there, but no more Forge World type options are allowed in this version of it. Of course, there are Forge World upgrades, and I believe they are in the Imperial Index Astartes. Or excuse me, yes, the Imperial Index Astartes that came out recently, along with all of the index books there. The Storm Talon gained, and I think this was actually in the FAQ, but it didn't compare up to the index book. This actually has Strafing Run right now, so +1 to hit ground targets. Dun, dun, dun. And the Thunderfire Cannon, very surprised, because not a lot of people were taking those, but the Thunderfire Cannon actually got a Neg 1 AP option to it. Let's see, where's the Thunderfire Cannon? So everything on here, as far as I could tell, is identical except for this one little notation here. Thunderfire Cannon, heavy 4d3, so that's going to be about 8 shots on average. Strength of 5, Neg 1 AP now, booyah, and this thing significantly went down in price, which I'm about to show you as well. This weapon can target units that are not visible to the firer. So artillery is definitely back and a thing to be reckoned with, and the Thunderfire Cannon might just make it into a lot of armies out there. Now, jump into the back of the book where all the points are. Let's get into the juicy details here. So here you can see everything written in the margins. Yes, I have permanently defaced my book. Are the points changes, whether up or down, and like I said, I think only 2 things went up and everything else went down. So you got Captain and Terminator armor went up 122 points. Librarian and Terminator armor went up by 2 points. Okay, I take it back, 4 things went up. Tech Marine went, oh no, these went down. I can't read my own writing. As promised, as advertised, I cannot read my own writing, so these went down, sillies. Okay, so it used to be 58, now it's 45 points right here. I was drinking when I did this. I mean, I can't read my own writing as it is, so that's not a factor, but sometimes I forget what I did here. Alright, so Apothecary over here went down from 80. Centurion Assault Squads down from 73. Company Chapter Champion down from 65. Company Champion down from 56. Ironclad Dreadnought, huge reduction, 40 points. Now it's clocking in at 80 points. Didn't check the Primaris Apothecaries because they're so new. I didn't have the data sheet from the book. I suppose I could have looked on the PDF, but I didn't. Dun dun dun, this is what you get when you come to this channel. Attack Bike Squad went down 10 points. Biker Squad went down 30, what is this? I can't tell what I wrote here. It looks like Attack Bike is 35. Attack Bike 25 and 35, so maybe the Attack Bike went to 35. I can't read my writing there, but check bikes. I think bikes went down in general. Oh, they were 31, yes. So they were 31, now they're 25. So they went down 6 points each. Inceptors went down 15 points a squad. Land Speeders went down 10 points to 70. Scout Bike Squad went down 2 points to 25. And there's a really nifty stratagem for these guys that if anybody actually played with them, I think the stratagem is actually pretty baller. And I would be very surprised if some top level kind of scalpel type generals started to play with a squad of bikers just to have the option to do some shenanigans when they kind of fall back. Because remember, Ultramarine bikers, or Ultramarine anything, can, I believe it is included bikes in the chapter tactics, can fall back. Infantry, biker, and dreadnought, yep, can fall back, and when they do so, not only can they shoot it at -1, and they have some pretty decent weapons, but they can also drop their caltrops, which on a 2-up, I think do D3 or D6 mortal wounds to the unit that they just fell back from or something. It seems pretty good. It might be a good little combo to kind of think about there. Centurion Devastator squads went down a lot from 105 to 80. Hellblaster squads went down a lot. What is that? I can't even read my own writing here. 18 points each from 120, so 5. Hellblaster. Oh, they actually might have gone up. What is that? The Hellblaster squad? Let's look that one up. That's important. That's a keeper. That one's important. We need to figure that one out. Because Hellblasters have the potential to be pretty good. Let's see. Troops, fast attack, heavy support. Hellblaster squad was 20 points each. Now they're 18, so they actually went down 2 points. Okay, so they went down 2 points. All right. The Hunter didn't. No points changes here, but I think it's weapon change right there. Predator went down to 90 from 102. Stalker went down to 80 from 90. Tech Marine Gunner, a 10-point reduction in the Tech Marine itself. Thunderfire Cannon went. I can't even tell what that is. 28? Does that even make sense? 28 to 55. Did that go up? Maybe that was one of the ones that went up. Or, once again, I can't read my own handwriting, which is common theme here to this channel. Just ask anybody that knows me. Thunderfire 36 for the Gunner. 28. It did go up. It went up to 55 points. So a -1 reduction went up to 55 points right there. -1 reduction in AP. Vindicators went down nearly 25 points from 160 to 135. Whirlwinds went down 15 points. And of course, there's some dope stratagems to use for both of those as well. Drop pods went down to 93 from 103, so savings of 10. Landspeeder Storm also went down 10 points. Named characters, a bunch in here. Grimaldus went down 10 points. Emperor's Champion went down from 108 to 75. Marnius Calgar went down 50 points to 200. Sergeant Kronos went up to 58 from 35. Telion went up to 89 from 75 as well. Very interesting right there. Ranged weapons. Did not check the auto bolt rifle, but I thought it was 0 points. If so, it went up to 1. Over here, Sky Spear Missile Launcher went from 0 up to 30 for this bad boy right here. That was interesting. Stalker, special issue bolt gun for the Stern Guard went up to 3 points instead of 2. Thunderfire Cannon. Oh, these are reductions, excuse me. So it went from 30 to 0, went from 3 to 2 for special issue bolt gun. And there's actually a really good stratagem for these Stern Guard models right here where you can get +1, I think it's +1 to wound, or reroll ones to wound. Either way, it's really good because when you think about the AP on their weapons, they can start dishing out damage that missile launchers do. And these guys are, everybody has them, and it's a rapid fire. It's crazy. Thunderfire Cannon went down 30 to 0, which kind of makes sense why it went up from, what was it, 26 to, excuse me, from 55, from 28 to 55 over there. So they got you on the back end, so to speak there. Other war gear that's new in here, of course, is 2 points for grapnel launchers, 2 points for graph shoots, of course, for the Reavers. Then we've got Lightning Claws, went down a point. Power Fist went down to 12 points. Thunderhammers went down 4 points to 21. Thunderhammers on other models, non-character, went down 4 points to 16. So those were the big changes that I saw in here, points-wise, units-wise, and data sheet-wise that we already went over there. So if there's anything I forgot, please drop it in the comments so we can all kind of start learning this book together in a little bit more organized fashion. There's the Stern Guard that I think. Special issue bolt gun, strength 4, AP -2 with 1 damage. I think these guys, you're going to see a lot more of these on the table here because they have, where is it? Wait for it. Well, they're Ultramarines in general, so it just means they're going to be rerolling a butt ton of models, but there was one specific in here that was for the Stern Guard. I forget what it was called. Not Hellfire, not Killshot. Those are the unit ones. Relics of the Chapter. Oh, here it is. You can add one to all wound rolls from that model special issue bolt gun attacks in that phase. So that's great, because if you got a captain or chapter master, you're going to be at least re-rolling one, if not all, of your shooting if you're not taking Guilliman. And you can even pop the Scions of Guilliman. Stratagem 2 if you want. Re-roll hit rolls for 1. Everything if it's tactical or intercessor. If you're not in range, you can pop your command point and get the reroll. So for a lot of cases, you're going to be getting rerolls. And I mean, that damage right there at 30 inches is pretty significant when you start looking at things like rocket launchers and other mid-range firepower. And then when you think about it, if your strength is 4 and you're going up against toughness 7, well, you're wounding them on 4s, right? But now you're wounding them on 3s because you're +1 to wound. So as long as something's like 8 or less, even if it's 8, you'd be normally wounding it on 5s, but now you'd be wounding it on 4s because you're +1. So this little combo right here does a lot of damage, a ton of damage, if you're willing to spend the command point for, it's on par with something that's a heavy weapon. And of course, these are rapid fire weapons right here at 30-inch range. So I think there's good value right there when it comes to Stern Guard. You see a lot more of those on the table as well. So that's it for this one. Please forgive my long-winded and very poorly handwritten new changes to the Codex Space Marine review right here. This is part 1 of our tips and tactics review video here on the channel. Of course, we'll have our full-on tips and tactics video, if not 2, because there's a lot of material to go over. This book is chock full of tactical goodness, just in the true Codex form right there. Now, if you haven't subscribed, please do so you can be the very first to comment and like our videos here on the channel. And head on over to longwar.net. That's the home of the 8th edition battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.